What is up, guys? It's Wyatt, and you have already seen the title to this video. It is a freaking big day around here. We're doing the final assembly on the 1200 horsepower Duramax engine build for the C10 race truck. So let's roll the intro and jump right into it.
Y'all want some fucking cheeseburgers? Friendly, wit redneck. Hi.
So to not waste any time, I've already gone ahead and got the engine up on our makeshift engine stand. The engine is completely unchanged from the last video, with the exception of I went ahead and installed the oil pickup tube and also installed the drive gear on the oil pump itself. The oil pickup tube I had to modify just a little bit. As you guys know, we're running the Wagler 1/2-inch girdle. So what I had to do is chop down the legs on our oil pickup tube standoff so that it would allow us the correct angle for this mating flange up here on the oil pump. So with it not shortened, when this was installed, you would actually have a gap at the bottom of this flange because it was lifted up a 1/2 inch higher than it would have been factory. So I went ahead and just chopped about a 1/2 inch off the legs here. It's actually about 0.47 of an inch, so just shy of a 1/2 inch. But anyways, chopped those down and then re-welded the little tabs on here. So this guy is nice and solid now. Also went ahead and installed the new hardware that came with the Wagler kit. But I do have a small bone to pick with Wagler. Pretty much everything, or actually everything I've ordered from them, have never included a set of instructions. And not that I'm not knowledgeable enough to install it without them, but it would be nice to have a piece of literature to reference if you did have questions such as, oh, do I need to shorten my oil pickup tube? You know, it would be nice to have something in there included with the purchase of this that would make mention of that. But yeah, that's just kind of my small gripe with them. But anyways, we did get that shortened, got it all bolted up. It's all torqued down, Loctited, ready to go. The next thing we're gonna do is grab the lower oil pan, get that installed. In case you guys see the time lapse of installing that, I am not going to be siliconing it just yet. I will probably have to pull it off to install some oil drain bungs in it for the turbochargers. So if I silicone it now, it's just gonna be a mess to clean it up later. So I'm just gonna put it on now to try and keep stuff out of the engine while it sits, and also see what it's gonna look like. But that is why we're not using silicone on both the upper and lower oil pans. Yeah, let's go ahead and get those installed and move on. So with the oil pans installed, I went ahead and flipped the engine over. We got it sitting back up here on our stand. And this is the first time I have it kind of upright with everything fully assembled on the bottom end. So it's looking really good. These forged pistons just look so badass in here. I don't know why, but they look amazing. But what looks more amazing is the front cover. And if you guys follow me on Instagram, you will have played a small part in deciding if I went with this color or not. Now, the camera is not going to pick up the color like it is in person. This color is called Pacific Blue Metallic. So it is a metallic paint. And here in the shop with these lights, you're not really going to be able to see that. But here is the front cover. So I think it looks really good. Out in the sun, it freaking shines like crazy. I'm really happy with how it came out, and I'm freaking falling in love with this color. So I went ahead and painted the front cover that color, as well as the valve covers. The backing plate, which we're getting ready to install as well, just went with the kind of matte black on that one. But yeah, let's go ahead and get the front cover installed. We just need to put some silicone on it and then get it slapped on the front of the engine. And then we can install the backing plate, our head gaskets, head studs, cylinder heads, and start working on the valve train. I'm not quite sure how far we're gonna get on assembling the engine tonight, but by the end of this video, it is going to be fairly complete. But before we get into installing the front and rear cover, we have to take a Corona break. So yeah. Well guys, we are cruising right along on getting this engine put together. As you just saw, we got the front and rear main seals put in. We also got the backing plate installed, got the oil pans back on it and sitting back down on our cart here. So next thing we're going to do is grab our ARP 625 head studs, start getting those all prepped and put in this thing. And then we're gonna go ahead and get the cylinder heads installed. I didn't film it, but just so you guys know, I did get all of the lifters installed. We are using LLY lifters as they have a little bit better bearing than the early style LB7 lifters. Just a quick side note there. But yeah, let's go ahead, get the head studs on this thing, get the heads in there, and then we can start assembling the valve train and go from there. Once that's done, we're actually really close to being done. So yeah, let's go ahead and start assembling the top end of this engine. So just like that, our cylinder heads are torqued down to spec. Now, just to jog your memory, we are using the ARP 625 head studs with this engine. Hopefully they will alleviate any lifting of the head or head gasket damage with the amount of boost and power that this engine is going to make. So with that out of the way, we can move on to our valve train. And as you can see, we've already got part of that installed. These here are the Wagler dual valve spring and retainer kit. Huge upgrade, definitely a necessity on an engine as such. You know, valve control with big boost applications is priority number one. You can have boost actually hang open a valve and have it come in contact with a piston. Also, when running the higher RPM like we're going to, you want to make sure that that valve is shut so that a piston doesn't come up and absolutely fucking destroy it. Along with the dual valve springs, we also went with the Wagler chrome moly push rods. They definitely recommend going with some upgraded push rods when you go to the dual valve springs, as the factory ones can bend under the amount of stress that they are going to see with this engine. So we're going to lube those guys up, get those installed, and then we also need to clean up the valve train over here in the sink. So get all the old oil off of this, and then we can get the valve train installed along with a couple other little goodies that are going to go along with that stuff. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get the push rods installed and all of that valve train stuff cleaned up, and then we will go from there. And just like that, we have the valve train 100% buttoned up. Just a quick side note, we did go with the SoCal Diesel rocker stud kit. So from factory, they just use bolts to hold this whole rocker assembly in place. But with the added stress of the dual valve springs and the higher RPM we're going to be running, there is chance for failure there. So going with the stud kit allows you a lot more clamping force, and hopefully it's going to keep everything in place a lot better than the factory bolts will, not allowing any deflection or anything like that. So with the valve train out of the way, we're going to move on to the fuel system. Another shout out to SoCal Diesel, as we are going to be running some more of their parts. And while they don't sponsor me for this, they're more than welcome to. I talk to Gabe on Instagram a lot from SoCal Diesel. So if you see this, feel free to hit me up and send me some goodies. But until then, I will continue to support you guys. We're going to be using their LB7 billet injector hold down kit. Now, the LB7 is kind of a bastard child of the Duramaxes. They're only ones that use this injector cup. And what this guy does is it actually seals off the coolant jacket from everything else in the cylinder head. So this guy slides down in here, seals everything off, and all that it uses is some Loctite right around this lip here to seal to the combustion chamber. The problem with that is with all of that cylinder pressure pushing up on this stuff, it can actually break that Loctite seal and allow cylinder pressure to go into the cooling system and wreak havoc on everything there. So the billet hold downs are definitely a necessity, and hopefully it will alleviate any problems that we have with the injector cups leaking or not sealing correctly or allowing any movement in the injector itself. So definitely a huge upgrade there. With that being said, let's go ahead and get this thing opened up. We're gonna go ahead and install these studs real quick, and then we're gonna start installing our injectors and injector cups. Well guys, I'm not quite sure where we left off, as that last clip was actually filmed about 2 weeks ago. So a couple of things have changed, and I didn't film them because it's not drastic, but I just got lazy and kind of ran out of time to film some other stuff. But turning the camera around, you can see that the engine is now back in the chassis that we're building the race truck out of. And we went ahead, got the valve covers installed. We also picked up this Wagler Street Fighter intake, or street intake, I don't know what they call it. A little bit overpriced in my opinion, but it'll work just fine. If you guys know the Duramaxes, you'll know that the stock intake manifolds don't really flow that great. So hopefully this will help improve our airflow, and it's also going to allow us to get our charge pipe or intercooler piping under the hood, because this does sit a ton lower than the factory intake does. So there's that. Nothing much has really changed from the last clip. Like I said, all we've done is install the valve covers and got everything done under there. We still need to pull them back off one more time to put the electronics back on here, but I'm planning to do a little bit something different than just using the factory kind of pigtail that they use. So we'll address that in a later video. But anyways, the engine is pretty much complete. I'm still waiting to paint that intake manifold. I'm going to paint it the same color blue, and I'm also waiting to paint the water pump housing so that it will kind of match everything there. Just a quick side note, we are using a genuine AC Delco water pump. This one is brand new, and all I did was went ahead and TIG welded the drive gear onto the shaft, as those have some problems with actually spinning off or coming loose of that shaft at high RPM. We'll touch on that in another video, but yeah, just kind of a known problem on those. So once I have the housing for this painted, we can go ahead and install the water pump and also install our ATI super damper. And then yeah, then the engine will be pretty much complete. I've been waiting to upload this video until I had both of these things done and installed. Unfortunately, I just don't have time, and it's probably going to be another week from now before I have time to get all that stuff done, and you guys have been blowing me up asking for an update. So I just decided we will go ahead and upload this as it is. Hope you guys don't mind. Yeah, that's pretty much the end of this video. I'm going to give you guys a quick little behind the scenes of some stuff to come. If we turn the camera around, you can see that we're starting work on the chassis here. And yeah, it's going to be freaking badass. So Quick little behind the scenes there, a video about all of this coming very soon. I will also have a bunch of content about all of the body work we've been doing, a ton of stuff going on behind the scenes, trying to get the body all straightened out, get the chassis ready to go, just a ton of stuff happening. But right now we are stripping the insides out of the bed sides. The goal for the truck was to always have a full steel body truck, at least for now. I'm sure at some point I will go fiberglass front clip and bed sides, but for right now I just thought it'd be really cool to have a full steel body truck, and that's why we're going to the work to remove all of the weight where we don't necessarily need it. Anyways, that is where we're going to leave off for tonight. But before we get out of here, I want to say a huge thank you to all of the fans and subscribers. Just the other day, we rolled over 50,000 subs, which is a huge milestone for me. I really did never think it was going to happen. But yeah, huge thank you to all of you fans. You guys are honestly the best. So one more time, thank you for that. I'm going to get out of here, hopefully go edit this video tonight. If you guys liked this one, go ahead, leave a like down below and a comment. I love hearing from you guys. I read all of them, even if I do not reply to you. I do read every single one of your guys' comments. So go ahead and leave some funnies down below. And also, if you're not, consider subscribing to the channel. We're growing slowly, but growing nonetheless. And there is a ton more progress to come on the race truck very soon, maybe in 2 days or 2 months. I never know with my upload schedule. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. Thank you guys for watching. Stay awesome, and we will see you in the next one. Peace.